Hello folks, it's John at Simply Sprouts Farm, and as promised, I was going to make a video on how to make your own cloche. And as you can see, I'm all festived out today in what's called tulle, T-U-L-L-E. It's stuff that they use to make wedding veils, and it is perfect to make your own cloche to keep out those dastardly squash bugs. We're going to show you how to do it. Stay tuned. Okay, before we get back out and have fun in the dirt, I wanted to just put a list together of everything you're going to need so you can kind of check it off, take a picture of this and check it off as you go shopping if you're going to do this. And obviously you do need a hammer and a shovel as well. So, okay, here's the rebar you can get. You need 2 feet, and you need 10 of them. PVC, you'll need 5 of those. They're 10 feet long. You can get those at Home Depot or anywhere. Tulle, even though it says here it's unavailable, you can get that at a hobby store. The clips, these are all the same size, but sometimes it's best to get a variety of sizes like this one here, because you'll want to use the smaller ones for the sides and the ends. The garden stakes, again, I don't like using these, but they might come in handy to cinch everything down for you. And then, of course, clothespins for keeping everything together. All right, this is not for the faint of heart here. I have some tulle. They usually come in rolls. They're 108 inches wide and like 50 yards long. So you can get them on Amazon. You can go to your local place and tell the person you're making wedding veils for your garden and let them look at you crazy, but you can get them all over the place. But works well. But you'll need some of that, and then you'll need some PVC pipe. I got the 10-foot PVC here, and then you're gonna need some clips because standard PVC pipe is 10 feet long, and you got 108 inches of tulle, so you're going to have to double wrap along the way. Just no other way around it. If you cut the PVC, what winds up happening is it just gets too short and it won't bend appropriately. And I've used these before, that's why they're bent. You're going to have to bend the new ones yourself. Pretty easy. And then you're going to need a hammer and some rebar. I already put 1 piece of rebar in just to show it. I think these are 2 feet or 2.5 feet of rebar. So that's pretty much you're going to need to get this rolling. But like I said, desperate times call for some desperate measures. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to establish where your PVC is going to go. So what you want to do is bend it and kind of hold it in place down on the ground, okay? Get it nice and bent for you. And then you're basically making a hole. And of course mine just came out. Let me see if I can get it back down. There we go. So you want to make it, and once I let go and put this in the ground, I'm going to make it so it's over top of one row. So once you've made the mark in the ground, then you can put your rebar down. And then now once you have your rebar down, okay, and I angle the rebar a little bit towards where your hoop is going. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. If I can, I might want to go to the fair this summer and win some prizes or something, you know. Okay, so the rebar slides down pretty easily on there. Okay, that's the easy side usually. And then you got the harder side over here. Okay. You always, when you go shopping for this stuff, you want to test to make sure the PVC will go over top of the rebar. I have had situations, even when it did at one point, I had hit the rebar with a hammer so many times to get it in the ground that it wouldn't go. And I'm going to have to use two hands to do this, so I'll be back. Okay, this is one of those situations where the rebar was bigger around than the PVC, so I actually turned it around, stuck the other end in the ground, and it worked just fine. Now remember, you got to pull this rebar back out. So I get it in to the point where it's secure, but I don't drive it in the ground too far because you're going to have to get it back out. So what we're going to do here is you've got to make these hoops all the way down, and we'll be back. All right, first thing I'll mention here is you can drive yourself nuts trying to get these perfect, because especially using them for the second time or probably the third time for some of these, they're bent a little bit differently or whatever. Probably the best thing you can do when you take this down is to string them all together. So it's like, here's the ones I used for this cloche, and therefore they can just go together in the future. But you can see up here what I did was I used some bamboo. The bamboo is 6 feet long, and it told me where to put my stakes in the ground, the rebar. And I think I've mentioned this already, but this is 1/2 inch PVC pipe. I haven't, so you just got to go over the rebar, and it's easy to bend. It's pretty standard. You can see that the bamboo is not exactly straight, but you just eyeball it and it'll come out okay. You put this tool on and it'll be fine. Like this first one here, you can kind of tell it's not the greatest in shape as the others, but it'll be okay. And if you have, because we're gonna have to cinch this down, you know, we can use dirt, but if you have some of these staples, I don't like to use these because they get lost in the garden, and then the tiller grabs them and bends them all up. But they'll be helpful, especially at the ends. So let's get the tool on. All right, so what I did here is I took one of the bigger clips, put it on the very top, okay? You could squeeze this and almost get it to touch the ground on both sides, but don't do it. These bugs, it'll snap loose and the bugs will get in. So you got a lot of slack here. So what I did was I made enough slack, and I used my hoe and I dug a little trench here, put the tool in it, and filled it in. So all this is now protected, okay? And we'll go around the side too and do it. And just like in the last video you saw, we'll do it down. But I'm gonna go ahead and clip this all the way down and get this rolling. Okay, one thing you want to do when you're rounding the bend here on the end is I don't cut it. I just twist it around and start it back on the other side. So, and then the clips can help you keep things aligned. You have to move it around a little bit, but that's all you're going to need to do. And then make sure you get the dirt down at the bottom. Between those two things, it should help you out. But we'll keep on going down the sides here. All right, a couple things here. Remember the ends, they're two pieces, so you gotta cinch them together, kind of roll it and then clip it down and then bury the bottom. And then you kind of got some choices here. This side I use those pins, staples, and put some dirt down right along the lip, and I'll even it up a little bit more. This side, which really looks junky, which I'm going to change, you can put wood down or whatever. Gotta make sure the ground's even and the wood's even to do that, but you can do that as well. To me, it just doesn't look good, so, but I want to show that as an option. And finally, you've got to at the top here, you got to do something, because there is a hole in each of these. I can find it. See? So you don't want the bugs to know. So back to the lady that lived on our farm growing up, Rena. She always had clothes on the clothesline, and she always had clothespins. So clothespin them or do something to hold them. I mean, try to get it as tight as possible, but you know, the wind and everything else, you don't want anything to be exposed. So I'll probably put 3 clothespins in each one all the way down. There you go. All right, folks, there you go. We got our lantern cloches in our former video, and our homemade one here, which I'll say turned out pretty good. A couple of things I'll point out. On the top, like I did on the side with the clothespins, I rolled everything together. And you'll notice here, because this is not the first time I've used it, there's a hole here. And I'm gonna have to put some tape over that. There's another hole on the other side, which I'll have to do. The dirt's all the way around, along with those staples. Here's what I'll say. You know, I spent a lot of time putting this ground cover down to keep weeds away. So I put some preen over top, a heavy dosage of preen, pre-emergent, to try to stop anything from coming up. I don't want to fight weeds on top of the ground cover here, but weeds are not as terrible as squash bugs. So if I've got to choose between one or the other, I'll take the weeds all day long. So, all right, so here's a couple weeks later with the garden Cloche, and I made a second one. And actually this second one here is a combination of one that you can buy. I'm not exactly sure what posts it came with, and that's about 24 feet long. And then these last 2 posts here, I just took some more tulle and put it in. But everything's good. The plants are coming up. The squash bugs will start trying to attack your plants when they get about even a little bit before this size, but maybe somewhere between that size there and this size here. So I got dirt all around it. It rained so much here, I was throwing mud, and so I got the bright idea to get some sand and put down, but sand doesn't work because it goes right through the micro mesh. So I'll find some other use for the sand, but got it all hooked up, and we will keep these under here as long as possible to try to ward off the deadly squash bugs. I did break in today and clip some plants because there was too many on some of the mounds. I used some old seeds, so I wanted to make sure I got some germination, and boy did I get a lot, so I had to go in and clip some. So that's it for the garden Cloche. All right, folks, another one in the books to try to thwart off this nasty squash bug. So we'll keep on trying, and just so you know, we're building all these things, and we're certainly gonna bring back and have a little garden tour later of everything, so you can see how things are growing and how things are doing. But I think we finished just in time. It's been getting a lot more humid here in Central Virginia, and I just felt a raindrop. I think it's getting ready to storm. So until next time, take care, God bless, just make better bliss, and we'll see you soon.